Yeah, welcome everybody. Today is Brooke is actually our final speaker for the school year for our Heritage Week / 2020 anniversary, The Power of Us. She's going to be speaking with us today. She's an alumni from Lansdowne. Some of y'all may know her. And she's going to be talking to us about her experiences after coming out of high school and what she's currently doing, and just some inspiration and some guidance for our students who are getting ready to head out into the real world. And thank you so much, Brooke, for being here. And I'm giving you the floor, so you're good to go.
All right. Hi, everyone. I hope you guys are having a good day. My name is Brooke Tipton. I graduated from Lansdowne in 2017. And I'm from the area locally. I went to Salem Elementary and Lansdowne Middle before coming to Lansdowne High. Originally, whenever I left Lansdowne, I had a plan of being a political science major with a pre-law track. I went to Tech for a year studying that, and then I completely changed, and now I go to ODU, and I'm in my third semester of the nursing program there. And it was really different, a bit of an adjustment from what I planned on doing before, but I think you'll find whenever you go to your colleges that everyone there is there to help you. It was pretty similar to Lansdowne. I had a lot of support there, and I found that same support in my schools, both at Tech and ODU. And Lansdowne has still been a big help. I have teachers from Lansdowne that I still speak with sometimes, or counselors, get references from them as well sometimes, which is always a help when you're applying to certain things. But yeah, I am enjoying the program at ODU so far, and I feel like I was pretty well prepared from Lansdowne. As far as post-grad plans, I am commissioning into the Navy next summer to work in their nurse corps. And those are pretty much my plans right now. And I have plans of being a nurse practitioner later on. So, Mr. Stanley, I think that's about it, unless you have anything.
Okay, so can you tell us a little bit about who's been your inspiration? Tell us who supported you along the way.
Yeah, I had, like I said, some of my teachers from Lansdowne were a big help, especially my senior year, adjusting, doing all the applications and getting ready for that, because I'm a first-generation college student, so I didn't have a lot of help. My family was a great support, but sort of the technical things they didn't always know the answers to. And I found really my family I leaned on as much as I could. But outside of that, like I said, my counselors were a big help, both at Lansdowne pre-college and then after as well. And then what made me change my mind? I originally was wanting to go into a medicine, like something to do with medicine, but my senior year, actually, I just got this random idea that I wanted to do law, and it was something that I'm still interested in, but as far as long-term, I just wanted to go back to medicine. I felt like it would be something that I would like to do, more so of the longevity of it, that it would make me happier to do that long-term.
So what were some of the biggest shock factors, if you will, when you left high school and got into college? What were some things that like you didn't realize until you were in the moment? What are some good lessons that our upcoming students can learn from you?
I think one of the biggest things was just going from, even though Lansdowne I think is a bigger high school in the area, going from about, I think it was 2,500 students maybe, to I would be in a lecture hall of 500 kids in a population of the university of like 30,000. So it's not always as personal. There's a lot of my professors in some of the bigger lectures in my prereqs that I never really knew them outside of class, and they didn't really know me. So I think adjusting to just being in such a bigger sea of people who they're from all different backgrounds, they're from all different areas, that was kind of the biggest culture shock to me. Especially because I went away for my first year, so I wasn't at home. So I think just the culture shock of that. But whenever you get used to it and you find a support system there, I think it helps a lot. Ms. DeVanzo, how many hours per day? It varies, especially in the program I'm in, because some days I'm at the hospital for 12 hours, and if I'm there, I try not to do too much homework after that. But on a regular day where I have class, I think I'll do at least 3 to 4 hours at home after class of independent study. Oh, I didn't know that the nurse at Lansdowne was in the Navy. I'll have to see if I can get in contact with her. That's a really good resource. Thank you.
Yeah, she's awesome. We'll be happy to connect you with her.
Thank you.
So talk a little bit about when you were at Lansdowne and your involvement with the school. So tell us what you were involved in.
Okay. At Lansdowne, I think early on, my freshman and sophomore year, I was just sort of involved in the club for my graduating class. And then as I got older, I was in honor societies, Spanish, national. I think I was in the English Honor Society my last year. And then I also cheered at Lansdowne.
And have you applied any of those lessons that you learned from that to college?
Oh, definitely. With the honor societies, that's something that, continues through college. So having that background with that and the community service aspect that you get from honor societies, you can always apply that to college. And it's always a good way to get involved and meet new people through that. And cheer, of course, having a group that you work together with that helps from everything. Especially, I have been doing a lot of group work, especially these past 2 semesters, and just getting comfortable with interacting with different people has been a big help.
Hey, does anybody have any questions they'd like to put in the chat? We'll give you a minute to put some in.
Why did I decide to go into the Navy? I actually just decided that it was about a year ago, so I think around last May. So I'd already been accepted into the nursing program, and I sort of just stumbled across the Nurse Corps, and they have a lot of different opportunities, not just for nurses, but in general. Specifically to me, though, they do a lot of outreach programs. Every year they do missions to underserved countries, and you have opportunities to vaccinate children, for example. When there are natural disasters, they send the hospital ships out to those areas and you're able to provide care. I think it's just definitely a different experience than what I could get working in a traditional hospital setting.
So, being you've been in this medical field, how has that study gone in relation to having to also do this during a time of COVID, and how has that affected your studies?
It's been interesting because my first semester in nursing school, I'm a psych. My first semester in nursing school was last fall, so that was really impacted by COVID. Our class sizes were split in half. We sit 6 feet apart, face masks, face shields. When we go into the hospitals, that's all definitely changed. And fortunately, we've been in person all 3 of my semesters because there's certain things that are just hard to do online. The online classes we did have were definitely different from what I had experienced in my previous college career. So that has been interesting. And I have brothers who are still in BBCPS in high school, and they're having kind of a tough time transitioning. So I understand that that's been pretty hard for everybody, but honestly, just a lot of discipline to try to get the online stuff done. That's been the biggest change.
So when you shift over to the Navy side, do you plan to be traveling to different countries in the world? Do you want to stay local in the States? What are your goals?
I think initially they send new nurses to either Portsmouth, Bethesda up in the DC, Maryland area, or Balboa in San Diego. And I'm hoping for San Diego first, but after that, I'm hoping to branch out. And I know they send a lot of the medical personnel to Japan, so I'm hoping for that afterwards. I think I'll spend about 3 years at my first place, and then possibly 2 years overseas. And then I'll go from there if I want to decide if I want to stay in or sort of transition back to civilian nursing. Advice for students going to college next year. Depending on COVID, if it's still going to be online. I know ODU next semester is transitioning to fully in person, but if not, I would say the discipline of getting your work done online. I know it's a little bit harder not being able to learn face-to-face and having to self-pace yourself, but I think the biggest advice would be scheduling and time management. And it sort of takes a little time, I think, to find what works best for you. Like, I have a spreadsheet of all my assignments due from the first day of class to the last day, and that works for me. Other people like planners. I think just at the beginning of the semester, looking over all your syllabi and just knowing what the expectations are, just so that assignments don't get lost in the mix, because with everything going on, so many classes, that's really easy to happen. And will I be able to study to become a nurse practitioner in the Navy? Yes, so they have a couple different programs. I can either do it while active duty, or they have programs while they pay for your further education and you kind of get released from work for a while to complete those degrees. To be a nurse practitioner, you need either a master's or a doctorate. So they have programs to where you can apply and they'll pay your tuition and you sort of just focus on going to school. I'm hoping to be able to get my master's or my doctorate while still in the Navy. But they do have options, and then after you become a nurse practitioner, you can transition from being an RN to working as a nurse practitioner in the Navy.
So if you could go back in time and sit down with Brooke in 9th grade, what would you tell her?
Ooh, Brooke of 9th grade. Honestly, I know it's sort of hard and there is a bit of a push to, pick exactly what you want at first, but even though I didn't stick with the first major that I chose, I think whenever you're going into your freshman year, to not be afraid to try other things. Even though I thought law was what I wanted to do, I really appreciate that I took some time and I explored other things in college just to make sure it is what you want to do, because it is a big time commitment in college and then for the rest of your life to do one thing. So I think it's okay if you know exactly what you want to do, but if you're having, some interest in other areas, don't be afraid to branch out and just, see if that's something that would interest you. It's never a bad idea to switch if it's really what you want.
Awesome. So I'm going to give like another minute for people to be able to type into the chat. I'd love to see a few more questions, and then if everybody is good, then we will sign off. But again, I'll give everybody about a minute just to see if they want any additional questions.
Do I think the advanced classes at Lansdowne helped? I definitely think they do. The AP classes that I took in Lansdowne helped a lot. I think all of my credits from those transferred to college. So going into college just from AP alone without any dual, I think I had about 24 credits just from high school, and that helped a lot. It got me out of, having to take some of the classes that were required for my major. Foreign language requirements, math requirements. I got that done in high school, and that gives you some extra time. It takes some classes off your plate, which helped a lot to be able to focus on the other things I had to take. How do I balance social life and academics? That could be a little hard, especially now. I'm in full-time classes in the summer, but I think just staying organized. Like I said, I have my spreadsheet and I'll plan out by date. So by this date, I want to get these certain assignments done. And once I just schedule that sort of is how it works for me. What I found works best, at least, is as long as I know when things are due and I can get them done in a timely manner, then I'm able to make a little room for other things. Because before, whenever I would kind of just take the semester as it went, I was rushing to do everything last minute, and then I had no time for anything else. So just planning ahead helps a lot. If I know one week is heavy in assignments, then I might start those a little early. So then later in the week, I have more time. What motivates me? I think my family, like I said, I'm a first-generation college student, and they're all really excited for the path that I've chosen, and I think that helps a lot. Personal motivations as well. I'm definitely committed to the major and the plan that I've chosen, so that helps keep me going because I know it's something that I do want to do long term. And then specific to nursing, just being able to have the opportunity to study nursing and know that eventually I'll be able to help people. I think that is pretty motivating for me.
All right. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time, Brooke, to be with us. Yeah, it was cool to be able to see you again, and it's crazy just between when you graduated up to now, how much you've already grown. Like, oh my gosh, it's crazy. So it's always good to see. It's always good to see what our alumni are doing and how y'all are advancing in the world and helping others. And I'm just going to go ahead and tell you ahead of time, thank you for your service in the medical community, because that's a big undertaking. So thank you for doing that and choosing that path, especially knowing where the world is right now and still desiring to go that route.
Yeah.
That speaks a lot about you and your motivation. So everybody, thank you for being here today. I think this was a great way to wrap up our 20-year anniversary. And Brooke, I'm glad that you were able to be here with us to share it. So
thank you.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. And Brooke, we're going to be sending you a little bit of Lansdowne swag.
Okay. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Well, everybody have a wonderful day.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.